Geekishes, I'm Sal.
And I'm Ben.
Today we're doing a Batman book that I've been meaning to do for a long time. I really like the story in that I think it is stupid. But it's also kind of cool. It's almost really great. But Batman Venom is a story from 1993. But it's one of those stories where it was part of a new Bat title at the time called Legends of the Dark Knight.
Okay.
Which was like a title where they were out of continuity, unless they wanted it to be in continuity, or unless they wanted to be part of the night, like the monthly series. But Legends of the Dark Knight was a cool idea, and it had some cool executions. And in one of them, writer Denny O'Neil wanted to pitch his Batman and like anti-drug message comic. And the funny thing is,
93. All right. Yeah, that's around the time Dare was really popular.
oh yeah, I mean,
Well,
comics
they were
and
pushing it anyway.
yeah, well, comics and pop culture at large were pushing the anti-drug agenda.
Yeah.
In a big bad way. And of course there were other like tie-ins, like anti-gun comics. Specific stories that were like done in ones that you could, I guess, give to Dare officers to have them disperse them. The idea was...
And Punisher was never in them.
Punisher did have an anti-gun comic, which is hilarious!
How does that work?
Because it's just... Because children shouldn't use them. But unhinged vigilantes have free
Should
reign.
have unrestricted access.
Yes! Well, because they're so effective.
What are you doing with my gun? Give it back to me. You should have that.
Blam! He broke the law! According to the story that Denny O'Neil tells, he has told this story 3 times.
What?
Like, he had this story idea, and he pitched it in the 70s, and he got it made. Then he pitched it in the 80s, and he got it made. And then he pitched it again in the 90s, and he got it made. Because he thought it was so important, this message that he had. And this story that he had was so strong. But each time he put it out, it was a little better than the last time. And it's like, that's not how you make comics or stories. You just make it as good as you can, and then you release it. And then you move on from there. But he's like, no! Right. And I'm glad he didn't do that, because we wouldn't have Venom.
Venom,
yeah. We would have had forgettable stories about other characters that weren't Batman.
What, he changed like minor details to make it like
Batman-centric, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't a Batman story.
No, it was total different characters. Yeah, no.
The same basic
principle,
stuff. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like if a director made a movie.
Yeah. And then like 30 years later decided he didn't like all the things that were about it, so just changed them.
It's the same plot.
Yep.
Just a little nicer with different characters.
That's right.
Or like a reboot.
Yes, it's like a reboot.
Yeah.
Only nobody knows it, and you're keeping it to yourself.
Okay, I'm going to reboot Mad Max. Except it's not going to be Mad Max. It's just going to be a guy in the future that has a car in the desert.
Yeah.
Or he's not in the desert. He's in the forest.
Or he's in the water.
Ooh. You're switching it up.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. I'll get sure thing box office gold Kevin Costner to make. Batman Venom, by the way, also takes place around the time as Year One. So it's a young Batman.
Okay.
Who is still kind of learning the ropes. And the story opens with young Batman, and he is dealing with, there's a rainstorm, and he's trying to get into the sewers, and this utility worker's like, you can't go down there, it's too dangerous, there's flooding, and the area that we're in right now is kind of unstable, and it's fucked up. And
they're telling Batman he can't go down there?
Yeah. Well, because Batman's like there, and there's a utility worker like, hey, Batman, don't go down there.
I'm amazed that...
fucking Batman.
Well, yeah, but we're in the moment where he's running into a human being, and the human being's like, don't go down there.
Not only that,
he doesn't listen to him, obviously.
The human being isn't scared either.
No.
That's the impressive part.
No, well, because
he's not like, hey, guy dressed up like a bat creature?
Yeah. I mean, he does know who he is, but
okay.
But Gordon's a captain, and Batman is kind of still, like, he's a little bit of a urban legend, but people still see him and know who he is. And, and they treat him like a lunatic in a bat costume.
I like the
Look,
idea.
you're crazy. Don't go down there. You'll drown.
Yeah, that's what he's like, don't go down there. First of all, you have a huge cape. It'll get caught on something down there. Secondly, that mask clearly has no breathing apparatus. You're going to need something down there. Look at me. I have a hard hat on. I have a vest on. I have bright colors to alert like other people of my presence. And
in case something goes wrong.
I have survival.
And even I'm not going down there.
I'm specifically here to keep people from going down there.
Yeah. My job is going down there.
Even crazy lunatic bat people.
You go down there, you're going to get me fired.
Yeah, exactly. It's not, you know what, though?
This is the story of how Batman cost someone their job.
I like the idea that you'd have the presence of mind to tell this masked
Batman,
vigilante. Like,
don't
I would just be like, whoa.
Yeah. Whoa! And he'd be like, get out of my way!
Jump. Okay, Batman.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a fan of Batman. He's like, no, I have to save your life. We need you in Gotham.
We need the bat.
They literally have, like, a conversation where the guy's just like, you can't go down there. The whole damn place is going to fall down. And Batman's like, there's a child down there. And the guy's like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like,
what?
It's dangerous. Like, the
was a kid.
He goes, the kid's gonna fucking die.
Who is this person?
I don't know. He's a concerned citizen,
what kind of
but not that
monster
concerned.
is this?
He's the guy that threw the kid down
He
the
should be
sewer.
going down there.
He's a professional who knows that if you go down there, you're gonna kill 2 people instead of 1.
Hey, those are the
Alright.
choices, man.
That's
Yeah.
how dangerous it is.
Yes.
That's how they're setting up that this is dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Little Sissy Porter is trapped down there, and the idea is that there's this child. She belongs to a not a really real wealthy guy, but actually like a chemist kind of scientist guy that lives in Gotham.
Okay.
She was kidnapped by them, and she was going to be ransomed, and they didn't reciprocate the ransom, and so they tied her up and left her in this unstable sewer, and she's left there to die.
What a weird plan.
Yes. Well,
were they hiding out in the sewer and
No,
then left her there?
no,
or
they
actually
put her there.
Went down into the sewer specifically to put her there.
Yes.
It seems like a lot of work.
Yes, but they kept her there, so they would
Gross
like
work.
Well, that way they could tell the kidnappees, the owners of this child, like where she is, so they could be distracted and go get her, so they could make their getaway with the money.
I see.
That's my assumption.
Part of the plan. Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Like I'll tell you where it is, but you'll have to go get her. And
Mhm.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and it will be really complicated and cost a lot of like time and resources and people, and hopefully emergency workers who would normally be looking for me and my money.
I suppose they didn't plan on the
Batman showing up.
Well, no, the whatever conditions have made it super dangerous.
Maybe, or they did,
or they caused it, or
we don't get any indication one way or the other. There is a storm happening, but it's also a storm shouldn't completely destabilize your sewer system.
Yeah,
like it should actually be equipped to handle a storm.
But maybe it would cause like faster than normal water, so that like
no, the things are actually falling off of the
like
walls.
rocks and shit.
Like rocks are falling and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, this is problematic.
Yeah.
It's like a storm of the century.
This is literally 3 pages of this book. So Batman goes down there and he confirms that it is dangerous, and he finds this poor girl, Sissy Porter, tied to a chair, and she's like neck deep in water, and there's an avalanche in front of her, and there's just large fucking rocks and debris in her way, and Batman is like, don't worry, I promise you, I'm gonna get you out of here. And then he tries to lift all these rocks as the water level's rising, and he gets to the one rock that's in the way, and it's too fucking big. It's just too fucking big. I think it's like 650 pounds.
Why doesn't he just kick it in half like a tree?
Right, because it's a rock! And so he can't move it, and she drowns.
Oh, wow. So
Eventually,
she's on the other side of the rock.
She's on the other side of the rock.
He can't
That's
see her.
terrible.
He can't see her, but eventually he does like, I think the idea is that there is a little bit of like a window between the large rock and like the debris, so he can see her,
and he knows what's happening,
and he can see her drown.
Wow.
And by the way, this is young Batman, so it's not like, why doesn't he just put thermite in the middle and explode it? Except also an explosion might destabilize the collapse even more, and it might crush her. So
she's gonna drown though.
Yeah.
He risks
so either way,
yeah.
I mean, he is stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Is this where he says, I don't have to kill you, but I don't have to save you either?
He just fucking leaves. Should be. I mean, we have known Batman to do that.
All right.
So Batman goes back to Wayne Manor and he's like, Alfred, I failed. And he's like, yeah, that shit happens all the time. You're gonna fail, man.
Yeah.
If you thought you were never gonna fail, then you were more arrogant than I expected. And Batman's like, I don't have to listen to this. I gotta go. And he's like, why don't you take a bath and fucking change your clothes? He goes, I can't.
A bath, no!
Yeah, right.
into the water. Oh, good.
No, he's not afraid of the water. He's just sad that a girl
just
died.
a reminder.
But
PTSD from
that's true.
failing to save her. Yeah.
He does kind of have PTSD in as much as he feels weak. He's like, I wasn't strong enough to save this girl.
I could just move that rock.
If I was just inhuman, I would have been able to do it. And,
so he's gonna juice up so that he never has this happen. This one specific failure will not happen again.
Yeah. Alfred's like, why don't you take it easy? And he goes, I can't. I came here first to complain, but now I gotta go back to Mr. Porter's house and tell the daughter's father that she's dead.
Right.
Why?
Like,
why don't you just go there first? But whatever. So that we wouldn't have the scene where he's like, I failed.
That's not your job, man. Let the police do that.
That's what I thought too, and I was like, that's weird. So then,
no, I feel so guilty. I have to
read ahead to what he says to him.
Oh no!
What the?
Tell everybody.
All right, Ben.
Yes.
What's he say?
She died alone, in terror and pain.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
Well, he's hammering it home like, I failed.
Yeah.
He's saying it so that he could hear it too. Like he's
you
like,
say it to yourself in the
I
first.
know.
Yeah.
Well, what's hilarious is the scientist is like, no, well, you are going to lose a few. Well, I mean, she was kidnapped. What are you going to do? And he's like,
That's awful.
and at no point does Batman go like,
What's wrong with you?
That's pretty fucked up right there.
yeah, maybe you were part of it. Nope. At
Look,
no point.
I know I said it, but like, damn, man, that's
Yeah.
cold.
So
But
he
he
was
does-
part of it.
Clearly. And Batman is like, I wasn't strong enough. And he goes, well, it's funny you should say that. I am developing these non-addictive, incredibly like natural male enhancement pills that will make you, virile and young and strong. So, you should take them. And Batman's like, I'm not gonna take fucking drugs.
I'm not going to take your penis
I'm not gonna
pills.
take
Yeah.
dick pills.
That shit. So
It's not for your dick. It's for your muscles.
it's for your muscles.
Yeah, it's
So-
a big muscle.
Yeah. The biggest muscle I got. So while this guy is trying to sell Batman drugs, the kidnappers have returned. And they, like, shoot up the place. And then Batman, like, kicks their ass. Or at least the first guy's ass. And the guy with the getaway car, he tries to make an escape. And then Batman, like, jumps on the car. But it's still raining because it's still the same night as the rainstorm girl dying experience.
Okay.
So then Batman's, like, chasing after the truck. And he climbs onto, he's holding on. And then the truck, like, sideswipes a telephone pole, which knocks Batman off of it. And he's like, damn it, I wasn't strong enough to hold on to the car.
Again, jeez, it's all coming apart.
Yeah.
It's all about strength.
So then and it's, by the way, telling the story, Batman fails to save this little girl, and he isn't strong enough to save her, so he's seduced into taking drugs that, to ultimately destroy his life.
Sounds great.
That's a cool story. But we have moments like where Batman fails twice. He fails to save the girl, he fails to stop a few of the kidnappers, and then he goes back to Wayne Manor, and he sets the clock that is the entrance to the Batcave to the exact hour that his parents were murdered, because he's just that upset. And then he enters into the Batcave. And it turns out, by the way, that that's actually the key to getting into the Batcave. Is you set the clock to the hour that she died.
It's a constant reminder.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So then he goes down there and he sets his weights to the weight that he imagines the rock has been, and he tries to lift it, and he winds up popping a muscle in his shoulder and just hurting himself more.
I'm sorry, was that to make yourself feel worse? Be like, I couldn't do it before, but I can do it right now.
Yeah,
more
more
like-
if he had been able to do it, be like, oh, why couldn't I have done it then?
Yeah. I mean, either way, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that.
Yeah,
Is the
stop,
bottom line.
Don't. Yeah.
But, I
It
think
seems
he's just,
like a good
I
idea.
think he
to
knows he
think
can't
about
do
for a
it, and
minute.
he's just punishing himself.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Alfred's like, well, that was fucking dumb. I don't know why you did that. But anyway, let's patch that shoulder. And then Batman's like, I will patch the shoulder. But I do have to go back to the scene of the crime where the van hit the pole, because Batman's a detective. And this is one of those times when he actually, like, fucking figures shit out. And he goes and he, like, scrapes off a little paint residue, and he figures out, like, where the van came from. And
All right.
he eventually,
all right.
like...
Well, this is a healthy response.
Yeah. Yes.
Forensic evidence, cool.
And then he goes and he places some dollars into the hands of like a shop man who had that specific type of paint, and to figure out who owned the van, and he winds up tracing the attackers and the kidnappers to their apartment.
Oh.
And then as Batman, he just shows up. And by the way, on the way to the apartment, Alfred's taking him there because there's no Batmobile yet. So Alfred's just driving Batman around places.
That's really funny.
I love it. And they kept up that noble tradition in the Batman animated series, where occasionally Alfred would be driving Batman places and he'd be changing in the back seat. But Alfred's like, you popped your shoulder out. You haven't slept in like 5 days, and you smell like the sewer. You haven't cleaned yourself up. Like you are in no state to beat up 2 dudes. And if you do this, I resign. And Batman just leaves. And Alfred's like, did he hear me? And then he doesn't resign. And then later he's like, oh, so you did hear me? And he's like, yeah, I just didn't think you were going to do it. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to do it. And you're like, why did we have that?
Yeah, I make empty threats.
Yeah.
Mr. Wayne, if you don't finish your dinner, I'm gonna...
I will resign. And he's like, yeah, I'm leaving it. So,
Damn it.
It's more like if you don't finish your peas, I will resign. So then Batman goes to fight these guys. One of them is huge. And he's just like, look at him. Look at this little guy in a bat costume. I can take him. Batman's like, you're welcome to try. And then they fight, and then fucking the guy notices that Batman has a bad shoulder.
Jesus.
So they get the drop on him, and then they just throw him out a window.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah. They throw him out a window. Batman almost like falls, but he catches himself on
Oh,
a
he
fire
grabs
escape,
it,
and then slows his fall, and then falls down.
Okay. Oof.
Yeah. Alfred winds up recovering Batman and like recuperating him at the Batcave.
Yeah.
And while he is under, he has this vision of Superman. And he's like, well, my friend, if I am the Man of Steel, then you must be the Man of Tissue. And like, it's just...
Why does he turn into Supergirl?
he turns into the dead little girl.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh.
And then there's
And then she becomes Alfred, and then Alfred is like,
and then he wakes up.
Yeah. He's like, I couldn't save her, and then so Batman's like, I was too weak to beat the guy. I was too weak to hold on to the building or to the car. I was too weak to save the girl. You know what? Maybe this natural male health enhancement pill will work out for me.
This guy certainly doesn't look evil when he smiles,
right? Well, and as it turns out, I think he openly admits it later. The chemist, who by the way showed up at the apartment and told the guys like, don't go kill Batman because I need him. He's been orchestrating everything. Like he orchestrated and facilitated the kidnapping of his own daughter, and I guess also knew that the sewers would have been filled with rocks that he wouldn't have been able to lift or whatever. Fucking, there's leaps here. Whoa. You have to get past in order to progress. But the idea is that this brilliant chemist is also a master strategist and planner who is orchestrating this scenario so that Batman will become dependent on this miracle drug that he is engineering.
Okay.
So he gives Batman these pills. And
does Batman pay for them, or
no? He just takes them because he's like, I believe in your crusade, and I'm going to help you.
I want to help you. Okay.
So Batman's like, right on. So then Batman takes the pills. He grabs the barbell that has the weight that's on the rock, and he lifts it.
Immediately able to lift
immediately huge, and just lifts up the thing.
So it's not steroids.
No, it's something else.
It's something
he's more ripped
magical.
than you.
It's something more magical. Yeah, what? He's more ripped than you. he's bigger than Snorlax. So,
and apparently his shoulder is entirely healed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It also
the pills
it healed him, and it made his muscles super strong overnight.
Yes.
Sweet.
I mean, not even overnight.
Like within a few hours,
I'm questioning whether this is a bad thing.
Well, yeah,
if it's that effective.
That's the thing. It's really effective, and it seemingly has no side effects. It, of course, has side effects. So Batman goes to the bar where those two hoods hang out, and he just slaps around the giant dude and throws him through a window. And then the description is amazing. I just love it, where it begins at the base of his spine, rises through his chest and lungs, and then he can no longer contain it. The laugh that sounds strangely like a shriek. Batman just starts laughing out of nowhere. And that's like the indicator that there's something wrong with this shit.
Yeah. That sounds terrible.
A little bit like the Joker.
Yeah. This is my favorite cover of any Legends of the Dark Knight cover ever. It is the image of Batman on this drug. Which
That's
is
so much better than the cover that they have.
I know. Yeah. I know. I love this cover.
That's great.
So great.
That's horrifying.
It is. You're like, what is that Batman? What's wrong with Batman? As a kid, whenever I saw that cover, I was like, that captured my imagination.
Yeah. Batman, what's wrong?
And of course,
Why
Venom.
Do you look evil.
Yeah, and by the way, Venom is the name of the drug that Bane will eventually take and use.
Is that?
It is. Yeah. This is
the same.
It's the same.
I mean, it makes sense. It makes him strong.
Yes.
Yeah. But he doesn't have to like pump it into him with like.
They later establish it in this book how it works. Okay.
Oh,
but
cool.
but they haven't invented Bane yet, so they're still working this out. Like they worked on this, and then they were like, ooh, we could use the Venom drug and then apply it to this luchador character we've created.
Wow. So this actually has lasting effect on
comics. And in fact, when Batman first meets Bane, he's like, you're on that drug that I was addicted to. Like, this is bad shit, man.
And he just grabs his shoulder like, look, I can help you through this. You don't have to throw your life away.
So Batman immediately, by the way, for like a few months, throws away the Batman persona and just dresses like a lunatic in a fedora, like a fucking Shadow-esque character.
Oh, wow.
I thought that was the Joker.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah, he throws away the Batmantle and just becomes a dude in a trench coat and hat and just beats people, and just beats criminals and perps.
Who's like Rorschach.
Yeah.
But he won't kill them.
He won't kill them, but he does beat them within an inch of his life.
So he's still Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but he's a little more brutal, and he seems to be enjoying it more.
Yeah, and it seems to be, I don't know, is he just like going after people who like have committed crimes in the past rather than like people who are in the midst of committing a crime?
No, it's more like that. It's more like he's just looking for people who deserve a good beating.
Right.
Which is like not what Batman does.
That's not what Batman. Yeah, Batman saves people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And of course Alfred
Or he doesn't.
Or he fails to save.
So Alfred, of course, is just so...
He's just like, oh my god, I can't even.
Batman, what are you doing? He goes, you're not even dressing like Batman anymore. And you know why you're not doing it? Because there's some part of you that's ashamed of what you're doing and won't associate this pillar of excellence and like peak human condition and like belief versus whatever the hell you're doing with this coat
Don't get me wrong, Master Bruce. I'm really glad you're not dressing up like a bat anymore.
Right.
Because that shit is crazy.
Yeah.
But if you want to just be a billionaire and like run a business, I'd be happy with that.
But he's not doing either. He's just dressing like an asshole and beating on people even worse.
I never thought that I'd say this, but I need you to put the bat suit back on.
Yeah, I think that was a little less crazy than what you're doing now.
That's
somehow
how fucked up this is.
Yeah. Are you hearing what I'm saying to you right now?
Does this sync up at all?
And by the way, we get the scene with Jimmy and his girlfriend where Alfred's like, what are you doing, Batman? And Batman's like, well, maybe I don't even need you anymore. And Alfred's like, what? Don't even say that. And like, he goes, and he says, Alfred, where are you going? He goes, away from you. And he goes, well, then maybe you should keep walking.
Oh my god.
And Alfred's like, that's an excellent idea. And then he just walks away and he's like, I don't need Alfred. He goes, I'm not ashamed of putting on a Batman costume. So then he puts on the Batman costume and then he goes to the...
But he rips it. He's like, oh, what have I done?
He goes to the chemist. He's like, I'm going to need more pills now. Like, indicating he is addicted to this shit.
Yeah.
And... Yeah. So he goes to the chemist. He's taking these pills. And the chemist introduces him to General Slaycroft.
General Slaycroft.
Who is not a bad guy in any way.
What?
No, he totally is.
Okay.
Is he a general for the U.S.?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Who did some, like, real bad shit overseas and, like...
Does it involve slaying anything?
Probably.
Maybe Crofts? Whatever the fuck that is.
It's just a way to make it a name. So, anyway, the chemist introduces Batman to General Slaycroft, and Slaycroft is like, yeah, like, listen, Batman, I like the cut of your jib. You're doing a lot of good work, and my chemist friend here, he says that you're on the up and up, so, like, I'd like to hire you to do, like, jobs for the U.S. government.
Okay.
Which is kind of interesting.
That is interesting.
Except that, like, the general is not working for the U.S. government, and he's just getting, like, personal shit done by Batman, or that's what he's looking to do.
Yeah.
And, but the idea of, like, the U.S. government going to Batman and being like, you are way more effective than, like, any SEAL team we have. You're one dude, and you've got, like, an arsenal, seemingly.
Right.
We'd
and
like you to, like...
strong.
Yeah, well, I just mean in general, but in this, it's like, well, you're super strong and shit. But, like, clearly the chemist and the general, like, work together. But it's funny because Batman shows up, he's like, I need the pills, and he's like, well, before we start with that, Batman, I'd like you to meet my general friend. And he just keeps delaying the conversation deliberately, so the Batman looks more pathetic, so that he's like, but... and he's like, what's the matter, Batman? And he's like, the pills. And he's like, oh, right, those pills you need. Well, here you go. And he goes, there's only 4 of them in here. And he's like, oh, well, it takes me a while to make them, Batman, but clearly you're not addicted to them, so you won't have to worry about it. He's like, of course not. And then Batman leaves and he goes, see, General, I've got him.
Wow.
Like, he is mine. Mm-hmm. And the General's like, nice! So Batman leaves, and while he's outside, he runs into this, like, dim-witted character. This young, slow-witted man named Timothy, who is the son of the General.
Okay.
And the General, like, is ashamed of him, because he's, like, a little, like, Forrest Gumpy, and you're like, oh, like... But... He's got a soft heart. He's a sweet person, and I think later on the General will use Timothy for even more Venom experiments.
Oh god!
And he goes like, "Yes, he's becoming a man. I was worried that he was a little dainty or whatever." You're like, "Oh my gosh!" Like,
wow.
Why is Batman beating the shit out of him?
Well, because he's just a dude hanging out in the woods outside of the guy's apartment,
and he's on drugs.
And he's also unhinged.
You look suspicious. I'm gonna accost you.
And what's clever about
he snaps him in half.
What's clever that O'Neill does is he establishes Batman the detective in the beginning, so that as Batman becomes more addicted to Venom, he becomes like more dependent on the drug and more slow-witted,
like
so
less
intelligent, less cerebral. So like he starts to like kind of forget what he's talking about halfway through the sentences, and he can't form clues together, and it's part of what helps him like snap out of it.
That's interesting because Bane doesn't have that reaction.
No,
he
because
stays a genius.
Oh no, because later when Batman says you can't use the he goes, oh no, I've refined it. So you keep all the good shit, but you're also totally addicted to it. But I also keep my master strategist brain.
Okay.
Even though I question the strategic mind of Bane.
Yeah.
As I've said before, Bane is like, once I crush Batman, Gotham will be mine. Then he crushes Batman, he just goes back to his apartment. He's like, aha, well, Gotham is mine. You're like, well, fucking...
no, it's not,
according
Bane.
to whom? You know, commerce is still underway here in Gotham. There's still a mayor.
It's mine.
It's mine, though.
It's mine. I beat Batman.
Like,
it's mine.
Because if you go to those people and, like, make them give you shit, like, you have position over them? Like,
Yeah.
I do think this gives you power over me. Batman talks to the chemist, and he's like, what about your daughter? Like, we got to figure out, like, who those men were. And he's like, oh, whatever, Batman. You got bigger fish to fry, I'm sure. And he was like, no, I don't! So he goes back to the apartment, and he finds that, like, the men are dead.
Oh.
And there's someone who killed them, and Batman grabs the refrigerator and lifts it up and throws it through the building wall and crushes the car.
What?
But doesn't kill the assailant, by the way.
He's mad? Oh, because he knows they're out there.
Yeah, he's like, that guy's getting away, and he killed these people, and he needs to get information, so I'll just grab the refrigerator and throw it at him!
That's his idea. This guy's getting away. Let me just take a few seconds here and... Yeah, probably.
But notice that as he's doing it, it's starting to rip his suit because he's just getting so big.
Well, not only that, but like apparently the fridge is super heavy.
Yeah, it's really heavy.
Well, refrigerators are pretty heavy.
It's bigger than a boulder.
Yeah.
Except it's not.
Well, they're pretty heavy. I don't know if they're
not as heavy as that
pounds.
boulder.
No.
Would be, because they're filled with air, but...
Yeah, so Batman winds up, like, getting one of the dudes, and he threatens him, and then the second guy gets the drop on Batman, but the second guy gets assassinated by Timmy. Timmy was in another car, and he was like, oh no, and he was in the General's car. That's what happened. The General...
And Timmy just had a gun? Sorry.
Yeah, well, it's... You want to take that again?
No.
So, anyway, I'm cutting to the chase, by the way. Like, Timmy's the one who shot the guy because he didn't want Batman to get killed, and whatever, who cares? The General's there... the General and the chemist were just cleaning up their tracks because those two guys were part of the plot.
I see.
So Batman goes to Gordon, and it's interesting because Gordon's just like, Jim, how's your family? How's Barbara? How's your wife? And Gordon's like, don't talk to me about my family, you creepy weirdo. We're not friends. You come to me and you give me criminals, and I give you information. That's what we have here. We do not have. You don't ask me about my family.
We're not chums.
We're not chums. And Batman's only doing it because Gordon's only reacting like that because that's how Batman established their relationship. Mm-hmm. Because they're professionals.
Right.
But as Batman becomes more slow, he's like, I don't know. This guy seems like a nice guy. He's my friend. Like, how's everything going? And
he's becoming like a simpleton.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, weird.
It's really weird. But But Gordon's like, you're getting pretty huge, Batman. What the hell's going on here?
Yeah, no, I'm not! Ripped. Rip whole suit off.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Batman then leaves.
Pretty strong.
Yeah, whatever, just been lifting more.
Yeah.
Protein shakes. So, Batman leaves, and when he, like, swings over the city, it's like, there's narration that says, he used to enjoy it, and now he just feels nothing. It's just a man on a rope. Like, that's all he is. So...
it seems like this Batman is not really particularly more brutal than other depictions of Batman.
Oh, yeah. Oh, certainly this Batman would make Frank Miller's Batman be like, pussy.
Yeah, exactly.
You threw a fridge through a wall. Did you kill any of them?
There's a line where he's like, I'm gonna hurt you a bit. I'm like, yeah, Batman.
Yeah, he does it all the time.
That all the time.
No, well, he says, like, I'm not gonna, like, take you to jail. I'm just gonna hurt you for a while. But he smiles when he does it, which means he's gonna take real joy.
Right. Which normally he doesn't take.
Normally he's just like, I'm gonna hurt you.
Yeah, he's never grinned
because
before
I
in
need
his
something
life.
from you.
Wait, yes he has.
Yeah, he's taking the pleasure out of it, whereas real Batman is like, I'm gonna hurt you, which is still totally not okay.
Right.
But at the same time, Batman
I really
liked
need that
before.
information.
Yes,
that you have.
exactly.
Maybe he's more he's like the Terror more.
Yeah.
Like, no, I scare people.
Yeah.
You say Batman's a terrorist?
Yeah, the terror.
Oh.
Who's the terror?
No, like, he enjoys the terror.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant he was emulating a character that we didn't know named the Terror.
No.
Yeah.
The only Terror I know is a villain from The Tick.
You mean he likes the terror? I thought you said he's like the terror.
Yeah, that's what I
was
heard.
like,
He's like the Terror.
No, sorry. He likes.
He's like the Terror, a character I invented a couple years ago. I have some
my
drawings actually, if you want to see them. They're pretty cool.
He's real cool, but you'll be scared. I swear.
Yeah, he's pretty scary.
It's actually not a bad name for a
superhero, yeah.
Or like an anti-hero.
Mm-hmm. The Terror. It's better than Solo.
Yes.
Batman goes back to the chemist and the General's like, okay, I've got your first assignment. Batman's like, sweet. What is it? And they're like, Jim Gordon. Someone tipped him off to our operations, which was Batman, by the way. And they're like, we want you to kill him. And he's like, right on. Okay.
What?
So then he goes to Gordon's house and he hides in the trees and he waits for Gordon. And Gordon's like walking a dog. And Batman's like, okay, they want me to kill Gordon. And you're reading the book at part 3, like, oh my god, I think Batman's gonna kill Gordon, or at least gonna try to, and this is gonna ruin their friendship forever. And he's like, Gordon, I'm here to kill you. And Gordon's like, what? And he's like, that's what these 2 dudes hired me to do. They want me to kill you.
That's what I would say if I was going to do what they told me to do.
But I'm not going to.
But I'm going to. Still, I'm really sorry. I'm choking you a little bit. What am I doing?
Oh no, I've killed him. So, I guess I'll just keep going. More pills. So then Batman is like, you don't understand, like, these dudes are trying to kill you, and like, this is who they are, and it's because you're getting too close to their operations. And he's like,
you're gonna do something!
You're gonna do something!
You're gonna do something!
That's literally it. He's like, you gotta do something. And then Gordon's like, holy shit, Batman, are you okay? He's like, yeah! So then Batman's like, okay, cool, I got this. So then he goes to the general and the chemist, who are leaving the country.
What?
Because Gordon...
Well, I mean, clearly the pills work. Now I can sell these to other countries.
Well, no, he's going to his like little operation on off the Haitian coast to a secret prison island that's run by drug cartels called Santa Prisa or something like that.
Okay, so this is part of the plan.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they were always going to do that. They were like, well, kill Gordon because somehow he got wise to our operations.
But his investigation will follow us to this other country?
Well, no, his investigation will hopefully go away, but we're still going to go to that other country. We have plans over there.
Then why do they care about Jim Gordon?
Because
he should be irrelevant once they leave.
Well, because the island isn't owned by anybody, so technically, like, the State Department could go there and stop them.
Okay.
By the way, they don't, by the way.
It's just like arranging the killing of the police commissioner.
Well, he's not commissioner, he's a captain.
Oh, well, whatever. Arranging the killing of a police officer would put them more on, like, the radar of the feds.
Yeah, than
Jim Gordon possibly
trying to prosecute these guys.
Yeah.
I think because they plan on coming back. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to go out there and come back.
When we come back, we don't want Jim.
We don't want, like, a warrant waiting for us.
Opening a cold case or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, okay. And they're like, well, Batman, you're not going to stop us because you're addicted to pills and you're a junkie. And Batman's like, oh, there's no way that I'm not going to stop you because, look, I'm huge. And he, like, pushes the general down. And the kid's like, no, Dad, like, you gotta stop. And he's like, oh, you want me to kill you too?
No.
And then, like, and the chemist is like, oh, Batman, I got your pills, by the way. And he throws them into a bush. And Batman's like, ah! So he, like, desperately leaps after the pills, and then the dudes just leave.
That is the funniest thing I've heard in a long time.
And he finds the pills, and he's like, yes! And he's like, oh my god.
Yeah, what?
What have I become? So he throws the pills away. By the way, during this entire ordeal, which spans months, Alfred quits. And leaves.
Oh, he makes good on his... Eventually... He takes enough abuse where
when he says, like, I'm just gonna keep walking, Batman's like, yeah, you better go. Yeah, you better walk.
He just quit?
Yeah, he just leaves.
Is the house in shambles?
I mean, we never really see anything other than the cave, unfortunately. Which would be, yes, I would presume...
Batman just, like, makes ramen noodles every night for dinner.
Yeah. And, like... watching Family Guy reruns.
He doesn't clean the pots, he just buys new pots.
Yeah, he's a billionaire. So,
I was like, oh my god!
Yeah, so Batman dumps the pills, and then he goes to a payphone, and he calls Alfred at his apartment, and he's like, Alfred, you gotta save me. And Alfred's like, I'll be right there.
Oh.
So then he goes, I
hit rock bottom.
I'm dying. Yeah, so then he breaks the telephone pole, or the telephone booth, and then...
He breaks it? Why?
Because he's just so sad.
He has to punch something.
You know, like how...
he breaks it because he puts the phone back too hard? Or?
No, he puts the phone down. He's like, damn it!
And then he punches it.
I had to ask for help. I'm in a desperate place. I'm supposed to be Batman. And then they go back to Wayne Manor, and he's like, I want you to lock me in the cave for a month.
What?
And don't let me out. I've sealed all the exits. There's no way out. I've got enough provisions in there to last me 2 months. But don't let me out. And Alfred's like, okay.
What's happening with Bruce Wayne right now?
Fucking nobody talks about that at all. There's no reference to that.
Oh.
It's young Bruce Wayne. Yeah, well, it's young Bruce Wayne, so, like, Lucius is running the company.
He's still not in the public eye.
No, because, like, no, he is. Because it's after year 1.
He's vacationing somewhere.
Yeah, fucking who cares? So...
Make up some line.
Don't think about that.
Yeah, who cares?
Because it would be amazing if, like...
People were like, where the hell is Bruce Wayne?
Well, if Bruce Wayne was, like, this roided up, like...
Oh, yeah!
Lunatic, too.
He's got women and stuff, and they're like, whoa. Bruce Wayne is on drugs.
You know, like a billionaire should be.
Yeah, but then he would be, like, investigated and probably go to jail and shit.
Yeah, that'd be a fun, like, extra, like, hassle for him.
That's true. That would be cool. They didn't do that.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah, well, there's not a lot of time for that shit. So, we basically we see 2 stories during the month that Batman is in seclusion. Batman locks himself in the Batcave, Alfred monitors his progress, and occasionally will just use the intercom to listen on Batman, because he wants to make sure he's not dead. and he just hears like occasional like gentle sobbing. He's just like, oh god, my poor boy.
Wow.
And meanwhile on this like shitty island, the general and the chemist are just having a great time, and they're like working on new versions of the serum, and they eventually come up with like a liquid version that's a little bit more effective, and they basically wind up testing it on the general's son.
Doesn't seem like a shitty island. There's palm trees.
It's
and a
shitty in as
villa
much as
and
that like
everything.
there's no government.
Oh, yeah.
And it's full of criminals, and it's run by a drug cartel. Like it is shitty in its
just
morality.
It's just Colombia.
Yeah, but the weather is beautiful.
It is. They're having a great time, and Timmy's like wandering the island, and he meets this cute local chick, and she's really nice, and they tell stories about like their families and stuff.
He's like, how'd you get here? She's like, oh, I was born in the prison.
What is the purpose of this story?
So that he can kill her later when he's all roided up.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
All right.
Damn it.
So that it's sad.
I was really hoping that Timmy would turn into Bane.
I was hoping that Timmy was going to wind up being Bane's father.
Oh.
Neither of those things are what happened.
So Timmy's just another cautionary tale in addition to Batman.
Yeah, except
Timmy's
Timmy
probably
isn't...
invented so he can die.
Yes, Timmy's not even, like, forced into it. Or he's not even a volunteer. They're like, okay, Timmy, you're a stupid plug. And he's like,
they just subject him to it.
yeah.
That sucks.
Weird.
Yeah, so...
I'm trying to figure what does he correspond to? Like, what...
Right, what is he supposed to be in the drug narrative?
Right, exactly.
A rat?
I don't know. Yeah, like the test subject. Well, okay. Timothy represents the general and the chemists. Like, first of all, their xenophobia, because they're like, well, we want it to work on white people. Like, we want to use this on American soldiers and use them for like combat and shit.
Okay.
And they do kind of have a problem with like locals and stuff, and as much as like they have an issue with like people of different ethnicities. And they also want to show like Batman eventually stops, but like let's see it when it reaches its fullest potential.
Okay, right. Okay.
And by the way, like his relationship with the girl becomes strained because he's like a dimwit and he's becoming more aggressive and stuff.
Oh,
well,
so
like
this is
I assumed, like if that makes someone like Batman less intelligent,
then it should make Timothy a drooling moron. Yeah.
So this is like the cautionary tale. Like this will screw up your relationships.
Yeah.
With women and so forth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does he hit her?
Is it just steroids? Is this just steroids?
Yeah,
totally steroids. Obviously,
it's just pills and steroids. Yes, of course, steroids. Eventually, they're like, well, then we'll make it injections because that's also how you.
They talk about how his dick gets small.
They don't do the dick thing. Now that's the thing.
Hey, this is for kids.
Yeah, they don't do a point where she's like, we don't even fuck anymore. And he's like, because I can't. My dick's tiny. And it doesn't work. Like,
I try. It rubs against you. That's as far as it goes.
So,
oh, I'm weird for saying that. Fuck you both.
So, by the way, they also wind up doing, like, weird unnecessary surgeries to Timothy. And, like, build, like, plates in his chest or whatever to make him, like, impenetrable.
Oh.
And, like, the general winds up, like, testing the bulletproof nature of his son, and it works. And they're like...
The bullet bounces off his skin, though.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a plate under there. Shouldn't it, like, go through the skin and hit the plate?
It goes, it broke the skin.
Hole. Okay.
But, you know, it's not...
It doesn't bleed.
No. So Alfred, finally, it reaches... By the way, Alfred, like, it's 28 days later, Batman's like, I said a month! So then 1 month goes by, and then Batman returns.
Wow.
I never took it off.
He didn't.
Yeah, he's wearing the same fucking clothes.
Yep.
Ugh.
By the way, this smells a lot like human feces.
It's horrific.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Wow. Gross.
But I love the image of Batman.
Yeah, he looks awesome with the hair
crazy.
and the beard and shit.
And the suit's all stretched out because he was huge and now he's not.
Yeah.
And he's just
cool.
like, "Are you here?" And he's like, "I'm here. This is me."
How much weird shit was he taking for in a month his hair to grow that long and his beard?
I don't know. I guess like
he just has that normal hair.
He's
growth
so manly.
speed. Yeah. Yeah. If Batman didn't shave, he would just be.
He used to be a beast.
Yeah. Every day, Alfred has to shave him.
Yeah. So the general tells him tells Timothy kill the girl, and he does.
Oh,
to prove
kills her.
Yeah, that's the one time he hits her. That's what I'm saying.
Jesus,
he kills her because we're proving that he also can take orders, and it's like
right.
this is going to be worth it.
He hits her once, and there's a giant blood splatter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's
because he's so
gruesome.
strong.
Yeah, it's horrific.
Horrible.
Yeah. So then Batman is like, I figured out, I remembered where they were going because he saw their tickets or whatever when he first tried to stop them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go there.
Okay.
Alfred, get your shit, because we're both gonna go to this fucking island.
What the fuck?
This is just a cool cover.
How is this not your favorite cover?
I've seen Batman fight sharks before. This is an old hat.
How many
Yeah,
times has Batman fought a shark?
At least a couple.
At least in the movie.
He did it in the fucking 66 movie. He did it in Batman with the Laughing Fish. That's the best one. That's the one that I think of.
Does he actually do that in this book, or?
That's more of a dramatization of how he fights a shark.
Oh, okay.
But he does fight a shark. It's one of those situations where it's not quite...
Accurate.
It's not quite a lie.
Okay.
Like most covers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's just an exaggeration,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Some time's gone by where they prove that the new serum plus the enhancements work.
Okay.
So they start like taking locals and
We're
like
ready to go in production. Yeah.
so they take some locals. They start like manufacturing these monsters, and now they got like 7 or 8 like big beast men,
Okay.
and they follow orders and they listen to the letter. Like he'll tell them like stand there for 9 hours, and they do, and there's no fucking like they don't stop.
So it's steroids
Wow.
and mind control?
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because like
They're so
drug
addicted,
pushers are
yeah.
like they'll get you doing their bidding.
Mhm.
You work for them.
Yeah. And the chemist reveals that, by the way, he is also taking drugs that he manufactured that allow him to kind of like be intelligent, but also, or be more intelligent and more open-minded, but it like limits his emotional
Okay.
ability to connect with people. So like
Interesting.
it's how he was able to rationalize
Losing his daughter.
losing his
Yeah.
daughter and not mourn her in any way. And he never
Right.
does. No moment where like he's close to death and he's like, oh,
What have I done?
what have I done? No.
No.
Nope, he's a fuck.
Oh, yeah,
And,
he's a fuck because he's the one that made the drug.
That's right.
He has to be a fuck. He can
Yeah.
have no redemption.
No.
Right. Yeah.
That's right. And so Batman goes to Gordon. He's like, look, I'm sorry, I was a fucking wacko. Anyway, like, you need to basically be ready to prosecute these dudes if I'm not around. Like, if I don't make it back, you gotta stop them.
Okay.
And Gordon's like, sure. So then Batman
Alright.
and Alfred go to the island using a private charter plane.
Okay.
The general shoots it down with a bazooka, and then
What?
Alfred and Batman have to land on the island separately via parachute.
Nice.
They don't see either of their faces or recognize who Alfred is in any way, thankfully. So,
So
it
they're
works
just
out.
there's a plane.
Yeah.
Let's create an international incident right now.
Well, they're like, it's a private charter plane. It's not, whatever, fuck it.
Right.
No!
You should know not to go by this island. It's a bad place.
How
I
about
guess.
it's just like, hey, I've always wanted to do this.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. So then Batman just hopes that, he goes, well, Alfred, when you land, like, go to the shoreline and wait for me or hide.
Okay.
I'll be Batman, kick ass. So then
He just
Batman
thinks
goes
it
to
in
the
his
island.
head?
No, he tells them that when they're like, when they're crashing.
Okay. I thought that was in her monologue. I was like, wow, that's some training.
Yeah. So Batman winds up taking out a few guys while the general sends the crazy, like, zombies, as the chemist calls them,
Oh.
after Batman.
Okay.
Batman goes and finds Alfred's parachute, but no Alfred, and he just hopes that Alfred's okay, and then eventually he gets a call via megaphone that we've got your man, got your guy,
we
and
got your guy. We're gonna blow his brains out.
your man! So we're gonna string him up. So then he goes to the shoreline, and Alfred is tied up to some, like, posts in the water,
Oh my God.
and there's sharks. So Batman inexplicably takes off his clothes and then goes to save
Whoa, no. He takes off his top,
Yep.
but leaves on the cowl.
He's on the cow. He leaves
and
on
his
the belt,
pants
and his pants
and his boot. Yeah, he just takes off his shirt because he's gonna swim.
Yeah. Plus, you got to see that he's still ripped. Yeah. Even though he's still not in state.
This is all me.
So he goes out there and like.
He looks so stupid with no shirt and the cow.
What's funny is I'm used to an image of Batman with no shirt on because of the Neil Adams Ra's al Ghul story, but it's he's basically wearing a shirt because he has so much hair on his chest in that image.
Whereas here, there's no hair.
No, well, because it's 90s. That's gross.
Alfred, wax me.
Yeah. But no, in the
He's
Neil
also
Adams
a
thing, it's
competitive
cool.
swimmer, so he's got to remove
Gotta
all
be,
that.
yeah. He anticipated having to swim, so
Right.
he buffed himself.
You understand, sharks can smell the hair.
Yeah.
I got to pick up an extra 100th of a second on my 100-meter.
So, oh, by the way, they also nicked Alfred's heel, so the blood will seep into the water. So that's why the sharks
that'll
go.
draw the sharks. Okay. I was
So then-
wondering how they would now, like... know
Yeah,
that
not
the
just like
shark
sharks,
would
like
get 'em.
sweet people.
Sharks love people.
People just
People
sharks
just, they attack people in the water all the
For
time.
no reason.
Like every day.
especially if it's a still moving human target that's attached to like some wooden pillars,
Especially if its legs are in the water and nothing else, making it look like an
wearing spats and like
So it's
tuxedo pants.
impossible for the shark to mistake it for like a seal or whatever.
Yeah, they love that. So anyway, Batman basically like he kicks the shark in the nose.
Oh.
Because it's the most sensitive area.
That's what you do,
But it will be back because there's blood in the water.
Right.
So then he nicks Alfred. He frees Alfred.
Okay.
And then he's like, swim to shore while I fight this shark. And everyone's
Nice.
like, don't tell me twice.
Done and done.
So Batman uses his amazing strength and breaks the pillar and then just stabs the shark
Oh, shit.
in the eye with it and then swims away.
The shark lives? Oh, Batman swims away.
No,
Sorry.
Does it look like the sharks eat?
Yeah, other
each
sharks
other?
show up and then eat each other, which is something the sharks don't do. But no, actually, if a shark is dead in the water, other sharks will fucking bail.
Really?
Yeah, that's a thing. Like a great white shark in dead in the water, that scent will send great sharks hundreds of miles away from that area.
Interesting. Because if something here could kill a shark,
Yep,
Yeah,
they're like,
that's
fuck that!
serious.
Yeah,
That's
smart.
it's kind of
really
neat.
cool.
Yeah, but
I also love the fact that he's strong enough to break the post. He's not the same one who's like, oh, if only I was strong enough.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Yeah, isn't it weird that Batman at this point in the book is able to do anything?
Yep.
And at the beginning he wasn't. He's supposed to be the same strength level, right?
Yeah, but it's wood. It's not a giant rock.
I'm fine as long as I realize my limitations.
Now, it could be
I
that
guess.
let's explain it a little bit. The wood is in the water. It's been in the water for a long time. There's
Ah.
obviously no upkeep.
Sure, it's
It's been weakened by seawater.
Okay.
So
it doesn't require superhuman strength.
no, just above average human strength.
Yeah. No, right?
Batman strength.
So then Batman, he punches the chemist, which is hilarious. Because, Batman gets back to shore and the chemist is like, boy, that was probably really exhausting. Maybe you might want to take some pills and fucking... He's like, bam! Punch him in the face. And then Timmy fights Batman and he's like, Timmy, you don't understand. We gotta, you're okay. And then Batman kicks his ass. But they wind up defeating him.
He
They
never
take
gets
his-
to put his shirt back on.
No, they take his belt and then they tie up Batman and they put him in, a ridiculously circuitous plan.
Yay!
Where they hide him in the cellar of the castle that they're in, and they're like, okay, so this chain that's hanging from the ceiling controls the door. It needs to be 650 pounds in order to pull, you need to pull the chain in order to lift the door, and there's going to be water that's going to be filling the room. And you need a few days, and in 3 days it will be fully submerged, and I'm going to leave the pills here, so if you take the pills, you'll be able to pull the chain and escape the door, but if you don't take the pills, you'll never be able to escape. It's just another stupid
Jesus
plan
Christ.
to get him addicted to the pills, because
Yeah.
this guy is fucking insane. He's just a
Yep.
monstrous, lunatic.
All right.
Well, that wouldn't work
Yeah, what is
because
his-
you can't pull down more weight than you weigh. You'll just lift yourself up.
That's a good point. Well, he could brace his feet on something. Maybe there's a thing.
Yeah, there's a hook down here.
Ah,
I thought
there
that
you
was
go.
for that.
Yeah, you pull it down, you hook it down.
No, but how does he? What does he pull off against?
Oh yeah,
you
good
know?
question. Fucking, they didn't think about that. So they go by. All right, well we'll see. And Batman's like, I'm gonna need food. I'm gonna need a bed. And they're like, okay. For some reason, they're totally okay with meeting Batman's demands.
Why does
And
this
I'll
guy
need
care
my belt.
so much about addicting Batman?
I
to
don't
these
know!
pills?
Yes,
what the
they're
fuck
all-
is his plan?
He's
already
sadistic.
worked. They've
they've already won.
on different soldiers. Batman is done. Just kill him.
We don't need Batman.
See, they're trying to make him like a drug pusher, but it doesn't work because a drug pusher is motivated by money.
Yes, not by the sadistic pleasure that he gets
Yeah,
from having addicted someone
Yeah, that's
to a
not
substance.
it.
I mean, it could be for some.
Maybe,
But objectively-
it's really not. This to me, this is kind of irresponsible because it suggests that people who are trying to sell you drugs are going to be these crazy sadistic
Monsters
people,
who are trying
but
to
they're
get
not.
you.
They will be normal. And you'll be like, oh, well, this guy's not
Yeah.
the
Well, they're trying to get him
character in
addicted.
Batman.
I guess the idea is we're trying to get you addicted so that you will become dependent on my product.
To what end?
Well,
To
maybe
keep
it's-
getting money from you.
Maybe it's also the
Well,
idea
in-
that the people that create the drugs, the chemists, the people
Yeah.
that like that, have no soul.
Right, they're
Like,
the people
they're,
who...
Well, they're the people that no, I want to see you addicted. I
Yeah.
did this for science. I want to see how.
I want to see
fucked up you
how
get.
well I did.
Yeah,
I want to keep you on.
makes them seem sadistic and bizarre.
Yes.
But in
He's not
reality,
Yeah.
drug sellers are not. They're motivated by money.
Right.
Which is a normal thing.
Yeah.
So I feel if you get the idea from this book that drug pushers are crazy lunatics,
Right.
when you meet one in real life, you'll be like, that's not it at all.
Right.
That book lied to me. These people are
Well, I think,
normal people.
and I'm
I
sure
should
the
be
I-
friends with that person.
because
Yeah,
other, they don't
that's
have.
what happens.
It's almost we don't have time to explore the delicate nuances of interpersonal drug relationships. No shit.
Well, if you don't want to actually solve the problem,
They're
then
not
I
going to
guess
solve the
that's
problem.
fine.
They're just
Anyway.
this is a drug awareness book.
Yeah,
So,
but
how
it's
does he
like
get out of the room?
distorting people's views of what. Anyway.
So Batman throws away the pills. He destroys them, and then he. By the way, Alfred. Batman got Alfred out, and then he's like, "Okay, Alfred, go steal a boat, and then go to like Haiti, like just row as far as you can,
Right.
and
get out of here."
call Gordon." And he's like, "Okay." So then,
Alfred rows for half a day and then dies.
yeah, he rows for a while. He gets like heat exhaustion, and then a boat comes by,
Oh.
and the boat's like, "This ain't no charity." And Alfred's like, "I'll give you $15,000 when we fucking arrive at shore if you let me use your phone right now." And he's like, "Okay." So then he calls Gordon. He's like, "Hey, listen," and he uses like a bat voice modulator, so he sounds like Batman. He's like, "Gordon, you need to come to the secret prison island." And he's like, "We can't do that. That's not how. I'm a fucking captain of a police department from a city." And,
Yeah, I don't have jurisdiction.
no. And he's like, "And it will cause an international incident. We can't do that." And Alfred's like, "Shit." All right, well, that's all I can do. So Batman spends 3 days just basically creating. He engineers a situation where he just removes bricks and creates like a pulley system. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
out of his bed.
So he's there for 3 days. This room is filling with water very slowly.
Yes.
I see.
Yeah, no, they've tracked it. Where they're
Oh.
like, it takes 3 days to fill it completely with water.
Okay, cool. He creates a platform so we can put blocks on the platform to
That
weigh
pulls
down
it
the
down.
chain.
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
smart.
So he does that and he fucking succeeds. While that is going on...
That's a strong table, by the way,
Yeah.
or bed.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, it's got to be 650 pounds. So...
It actually wouldn't have to be if he was to jump on it. It would increase the
Yeah.
apparent
I think he
weight.
does, actually. He's like, we're running out of time. I gotta fucking do this. So he just... Bleh.
Okay.
But, yeah, he pulls two.
Okay. So he adds his strength to
Mm-hmm.
the weight of the... Okay.
But, so the general turns on the chemist. He's like, I'm sick of fucking sharing with you, and I need to know your
Oh,
secret
gee,
formula.
of course. No
So
honor
then-
among thieves.
Nope. So then literally, he's like, oh, how about this? And you're like, oh no, what's gonna happen? Fucking what happens is he ties him up and he just tortures him until he tells him the formula.
Oh.
And that's
Well,
what he
that's-
does. And then
I mean, that's
Batman-
what would happen.
How about where are your notes?
Yeah, well, he doesn't have any notes. When
it's all
Batman
up here.
stopped them, he had notes, but the notes were scattered. Like, they left them behind. The general's like, there's no time, leave the notes, we gotta go back to this
okay.
crazy island.
Oh, the general screwed himself over.
Yeah, but then the guy's like, it's all up here. He's like, okay, it's up there, then I'll just torture you until you tell me. And then he does.
No problem.
Yep. So then he does, and he gets the formula, and...
What does that even mean? What is the formula?
the formula to make this, like, crazy drug.
Okay, so it's like the procedure for manufacturing it?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, the chemical composition of the drug. 'Cause
Okay.
it's something new.
You're a general. I get that you're smart with certain
He
things.
just writes
but
it all down.
You're not gonna know
Oh.
all this.
No, but he just writes it all down. He gives it to people that
I
can
guess
do
you
it.
could find another chemist who's like, make this.
Yeah,
And they
make
do
this.
that.
They do, yeah. So then Batman shows up and he defeats them. And
Right. 'Cause
the guy's
they
like,
can't do anything.
and the chemist is like, well, I win because you took the pills. And he's like, I didn't. And he just takes the pills and he drops them in his face. And then,
you should have like made him take them.
yeah.
something.
And what's hilarious is
You should have just. Nah, never mind.
the Timothy is programmed to only listen to the orders of the general.
Okay.
And the chemist was recording, like the way he wasn't writing down the formula, he was recording it using a tape recorder.
Okay.
And it's the general is like talking to the chemist, like, you want to kill me, right? You want to kill me? Like, you can't. I'm gonna get you. He's just being a dick.
Yeah.
But then the chemist fucking rewinds and then plays "Kill me" as the general, and then Timothy kills the general.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And then Batman.
That is
fucking-
not cool.
Does Batman let it happen, or
There's
like...
no because he's too strong. The guy.
Oh, he can't stop him.
He can't
from killing
stop
the guy. Oh wow.
And he like presses Batman with his elbow like against the wall.
Oh.
And he's just pinned there until he crushes his father.
Oh wow.
And then he's like, "Oh my god, I killed my own father." And Batman's like, "Oh,
That's what
Timothy."
happens when you take drugs. You hurt the people you love.
Yeah. So then,
You kill your asshole dad.
yeah. So then Batman,
Who totally deserves it.
the chemist guy, and I guess Timothy get in a helicopter, and Batman flies the helicopter to wherever Alfred is and the Gotham City Police Department. And
So Timothy just stops.
yeah, he just stops because like the guy who gives him orders is dead, so there's no more program.
Oh, okay.
And then and they're like, "Well, that's that." And then he gets
You
arrested.
mean he's not entirely unstable and moody and lashes out at people
No,
uncontrollably?
No.
no. And then Gordon's like, "Well, the fucking general's dead. The guy's in custody. You must be very happy." Batman's like, "You don't get it."
I've never been happy.
By the way, we also
I'm not happy. A little girl died.
Yeah.
that still happened.
Gordon's like, that was months ago.
Jesus Christ, Batman! You know how many girls have died in the last fucking 3 months?
Don't tell me that. Oh, why was I in that cave for so long?
Yeah.
Why did it take me so long to get past my addiction?
Yeah.
Stupid, weak Batman.
By the way, there's a...
Oh, I should take pills to fix that.
My favorite moment in the book is the image of Batman mid-detox.
What's he doing? Ah! Holy shit.
He's
fucked up.
Foaming at the mouth.
He basically is like, I reverted to an animal.
Yeah, his hands are like all like
Blasting
gnarled.
through. He's basically become like subhuman. He became
But,
like...
amazingly enough, he didn't become a bat.
No, he became a primate.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
But the idea is, like, he had to basically break himself down on a subatomic level, or on a genetic level,
Yeah.
and then rebuild
His
himself.
body chemistry is like changing.
Yeah. And then
Wow.
he's like, he uses this image to allow himself to keep the pills so that he could drop them in the face of the chemist guy, but also not take them.
Right.
He's like, that image of himself. I think the idea is that at one point he actually caught a glimpse of himself in the cave, and he's like, never again. Like, I know that I had my epiphany before, but like, if ever it was gonna happen, now it will never, because I've seen what monster I become.
I've seen rock bottom.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so thus endeth Batman Venom. And later they're like, oh, well, the prison place is full of these people with this chemical in their bodies, and Bane...
Including Bane.
Bane finds the stockpile of that shit and uses it and shit. Okay. It's just a... Well, they figure that out for that. We'll do Bane eventually, but for Venom, they don't even call it Venom, I don't think, in the book. But like later they... The whole story is called Batman Venom, so like we know the drug is what it's called, or it's more like Venom is what they call it, like narratively. They're like the poison that you're taking.
Right.
But I think then they were like, oh, but it's also called Venom now.
Yeah, because there's no name for the drug. They never say it.
They don't really ever say the name of the drug, no, and they can't call it like anything chemically real because there's things that have that name.
So in the book, they just refer to it as like the drug or that drug or
the pills.
The pills.
The pills.
Yeah,
I
just
the
pills.
Yeah. So it was a neat idea and
Yeah,
pretty
it's
okay execution.
It's a cool story. As an anti-drug story, it seems like
it's not
totally useless.
Yeah, but it's a pretty sweet Batman story, and
Yeah.
it's also kind of cool where it's like let's not be afraid to fuck up Batman. It's like to show Batman as weak.
Yeah.
If ever this was going to work on a character, if we were ever going to do this, if they did it to like Oliver Queen or Green Arrow, he would be known as a junkie. Also, his ward was a junkie as well, so it wouldn't work. But like, if it was another character that was less popular,
Yeah.
it would malign and stick with the character forever.
It'd be like fucking
Hank
Pym
Pym.
and his wife.
Exactly. But with Batman, it's like Batman's done so many things, been through so many things. Like, fucking, like, where do I start when I start picking apart the stories of Batman? Do I do the one where he dressed in a yellow or in a rainbow costume to distract criminals from attacking Robin because he had a broken arm? Do I attack the one where he had the purple suit when he was in a fucking space? Like, do I do the one where he had a Mixyesplitnik like character named Batmite, like from the ninth dimension? Like, do I do the one where he fucking fought a guy who can't die because he immerses himself in lava? Like, fucking, where do I start with making fun of Batman stories? Batman taking pills and then becoming stronger as a result is actually kind of enchanting. Like, I like that idea. Versus anything dumb.
It's good narrative-wise.
Yeah, it's fine.
It works.
But yeah, Batman Venom. It's cool. It captured my imagination forever. This volume does nothing for me. I don't get the font.
Yeah,
I don't
the
like
cover sucks.
I don't like the reimagining of a way better image.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, it wasn't necessary.
This cover is where it's at.
That is fucking awesome. Also, nice font. There.
Yes,
I don't know what they were.
What they were going for.
It looks like crayon.
It's like it's scrawled, in crayon. Like, what does that
why?
mean?
What does that indicate?
Like,
Think of the children. I don't know.
There's no one in the book who character that style embodies.
Well, it really looks like Joker colors because it's purple and green.
Yeah.
That also.
Yeah.
And
he's smiling. Maybe you're meant to be tricked.
That's
thinking that
probably
like
it.
Joker
It's a Joker
used his
book.
toxin on Batman. Like, no,
Yeah.
it's about steroids. Sorry.
That is probably it. That sucks.
That sucks. This sucks. Whereas, like, that cover caught my imagination forever.
Yeah.
It was literally, there were two covers when I was a child that I'd see behind the counter, like up on the wall, that I wasn't allowed to get as a child. And it was this one and it was Killing Joke. And they were very simple, subtle covers where it's like, Joker with a camera. And I was like, ooh, can I read that one? They're like, no, you can't. And I'm like, why? He looks like the Joker. Like, there's nothing about this cover that indicates anything nefarious.
Yeah.
It's just the Joker taking a picture. And it's like, oh, he's taking a picture of naked Barbara Gordon after he paralyzed her. Like, fucking, oh! But
And you're like, oh, now I really want to read it.
yeah, or Batman being smiling with a 5 o'clock shadow, like indicating he's not taking care of himself. And he's also like out of his mind. You know, what is that? And it's like, well, he's. I know it's meant for you because like you're supposed to be
right. You're like
scared out of drugs.
Yeah.
But it's really kind of extreme.
And it's also fun that in this book there is no villain except the drugs.
Yes. Oh, well, except for the fucking guys who.
The guys too, but like they're barely villains.
Well, they're
suck.
just
bad
Well, they suck.
men.
They're bad men. They are
Yeah.
the villains, but it's also like the story. Like,
There's no
the
super
story
villains.
isn't about Batman defeating villainy
No.
or capturing the bad guy.
That's true.
The story, which unfortunately like ends 2 chapters before the fucking story ends,
Yeah.
is about Batman being tempted, and it doesn't. And I think the point is it doesn't matter where the temptation comes from. It could come from the worst places, like you're just feeling shitty, or it could come from the best places, you want to be better. And
help
that's
people, yeah.
that's the story that Denny O'Neil wanted to tell. He was like,
Yeah.
he goes, that's the point. He goes, there's good people who are brought low because they wanted to believe in the promise that drugs offer, which is they make you better.
Yeah, they make you a better version of yourself.
Yes, where and the further into it you get, the worse person you become.
Right.
And that's a message.
That is a message, yeah.
But unfortunately, it's getting muddled in like in super monsters and fucking like death
Sharks.
traps and bazookas
Yeah.
and sharks. But you know, it's pretty cool.
You know what would make this more effective for me? And I know why they didn't do it, because narratively it wouldn't make sense, but like, if at the end, or towards the end, he encounters another like scenario that he can't save someone,
Right, he needs
but
to, like-
reacts better to it. Because in
Yeah,
this,
he
like,
becomes smarter.
right, because in this he saves Alfred with his strength.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
not
like-
how he learned a lesson.
Yeah, like you didn't learn anything.
no, he failed because of his strength, and then he wins because of his strength.
Yeah.
No, he should have been smarter and more prepared.
Well,
Yeah.
he gets himself out of a situation because of his smarts.
right.
Yes.
When
Right.
he
He
escapes
does.
from that room.
He does, but
that's it. He
but-
doesn't save anyone
Well,
but
and
himself.
if he's able to get himself out of a situation with his smarts, like that's not bringing him low again. Like
No.
he's not having to surmount anything because again he
Yeah,
succeeded.
I think that they
He
thought
needs-
they were giving you that with the death trap.
Yeah,
But-
they didn't.
But he already figured out how to defeat them before they even put him in the room.
yeah, but like with this, I don't believe necessarily that if he loses someone else, that he won't just fall back off the wagon.
Right.
You know, like he could
Yeah.
because he was able to
Yeah,
succeed.
he needs to
at
prove to
everything.
himself that he is a better Batman without it.
Yeah.
That's why I think that it would be
Well,
cool.
or that it's okay to fail sometimes.
Right.
Ethan,
You know.
he lost someone. We're not going to let him lose someone again in this book.
Yeah.
because
Jesus.
otherwise he looks like a fucking idiot.
I know.
Look
But
at
I'm just
Batman, he
saying,
can't
like,
do anything
It's
right.
awfully easy to say, like, oh, well,
It's-
he got off the drugs and then he never had a problem again. Which is like, no!
No, it would be cool if he was like, if he does succeed as a result of his intelligence and says the strength is a tool, it's one of the many tools that I have in my belt,
Yeah.
you know, in my arsenal against crime.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's not the only fix. And at the end, he doesn't need a person to die. He just forgives himself for having failed the first
Yeah.
time.
I would like to see some acknowledgement, perhaps, that, like, you're
You
gonna
learn.
lose more people, Batman. He's like, I know.
Yes.
But it's okay because, like, I'm doing the best. I'll do the
Yeah,
best
I'm
I
just
can.
doing the best I
Like,
can as a man.
I'll fail, like, trying my hardest
Yeah.
as, like, me, the person that I know I'm supposed to be.
Yes.
And that's, like, the best part of me, the best version of me.
Exactly.
Without the drugs.
Venom, which is hilarious because I was like, Tiffany asked me what book we were going to do, and I was like, I think we're going to do Batman Venom. She's like, they crossed over Batman with Venom? And I'm like,
No.
yes. No,
Oh.
no, they did not. Batman has never fought or met Venom.
That's
Superman
sad.
has.
That'd be fun.
That would kind of be cool.
Yeah, Superman met Venom, and it's stupid.
Superman met Venom? That is fucking weird.
Well, because they're both news reporters.
It's pretty weak.
It's pretty garbage. No, what happens is it's...
Wait, Eddie Brock is a reporter?
He was. Yeah, his origin is that he was a news reporter, and he had a schizophrenic neighbor who watched a lot of the news and saw a serial killer named the Sin Eater committing crimes and assumed that he was the Sin Eater, and then just told Eddie Brock that he was. And then Eddie Brock recorded the interview, brought it to his newspaper, The Globe, and then they ran it. And then when Spider-Man caught Stan Carter, the real Sin Eater, Eddie Brock was disgraced and fired.
Ah.
Yeah.
So Eddie Brock was not, or Venom was not a news reporter when Superman crossed over with him.
No, I'm just saying they were both.
Eddie Brock was a reporter at one time.
It's more or less so that at the end, Spider-Man and Superman can, like, meet up after they've both defeated Venom. And then and then Spider-Man can say something like, he was a news reporter, and you know how those people can be. And then Superman can look at him like a jerk. And
Even though Spider-Man is also a news reporter.
He's a photographer.
He works for the newspaper. Yeah.
He takes photos.
Well, he would have an attitude about
About
news reporters,
reporters.
perhaps, if they have an attitude about him. You know?
Yeah, freelance photographers.
Yeah.
Probably.
You just walk around, you take pictures.
It's like,
It's
no.
so hard.
I web them to a corner and I put it on auto.
It's actually really hard.
I'm sorry, say that one more time to this recorder.
Bam! Batman Venom. You can pick up a copy in the description box below this video. We'll see you guys next time with another episode of Back Issues. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Ben.
Thanks a lot for watching.